the show. I'm the Notorious B.I.V. and this is my boy Paulie G.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
We're back. We took the summer off because we were lazy. Pretty much, right? That was pretty much it.
Everybody takes the summer off. No, not everybody takes the summer off.
Yeah.
But we did.
Yeah, we did. So today we're going to talk about, so here's the first thing, Paul.
Okay.
Don't ever say, hey, can I ask you a question? No one should ever say that. Just ask them your question.
As a teacher, when a kid raises their hand and I call them and they say, I have a question, I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
That's why I called on you.
Duh.
You could just move right along here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever said in answer to that question, no, you can't ask me a question, right? Like, that'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But,
I guess if somebody's like in the middle of explaining something and you're like interrupting them, like, hey, can I ask a question? Like, I guess I can see that.
yeah.
But like, you're just sitting there, it's silent. And then somebody says, hey, can I ask you a question? That just seems weird.
It is weird. Or,
You can just be like, hey, Brandon. And then just ask your question.
right, exactly.
All right.
Like, they're like, hey, can I ask you a deep, personal question? You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, maybe, I guess.
I have prefaced it like, hey, I have a question, and if you don't want to talk about this, please let me know. You know, just so that they realize, like, if they don't want to talk about it, I'm not going to be offended. Like, I'm trying to be, you know, a little understanding that maybe they don't want to talk about something personal.
Yeah.
But still, I think normally, though.
Well, that reminds me, too. So if you need to be careful who you share sensitive information with, especially if you expect them to keep that a secret, right?
Yeah, I'm not good at that. They call me Radio Pablo in my family because I tend to just tell everybody everything.
Well, that's fine. Like, if you do, and you don't expect them to, like, keep it to themselves.
No, so I'm bad because people tell me things and then I tell everybody else.
Oh, okay.
And so then I've gotten the nickname Radio Pablo for like, oh man.
Nice.
So
people tell you sensitive stuff and you tell everybody else.
I feel like I've gotten better at it, but it's definitely something that I am not very good at.
All right.
Just recently, like over the summer, multiple times, I said things that someone was like, why would you say that? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. And they're like, well, I thought it would have been obvious that was not, that was important to me. And that's why I didn't want you to share it with somebody else. So
yeah,
I think people who know me well tell me, please don't share this with anybody else because they know that they need to tell me that because otherwise.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
it's hard because I am just open with about myself, and
right.
So then I just assume that other people are the same way, which of course doesn't work.
Okay.
It's like the golden rule, like, oh, I'll treat you like I want to be treated. Well, that doesn't always work because you don't want to be treated the way I want to be treated. So
right.
Then instead of treating people the way I want to be treated, you should treat people the way they want to be treated because it's not the same way sometimes, right?
Good point, Paul. Very good point. So what I'm saying, though, is like, so we'll take your example. Like, someone tells you something, you don't, like, that places a burden on you in some ways, right? If they want you to keep their secret, it's like, well, now they've given you this thing, and you're just like, oh.
And you can't talk about it with anybody.
Yeah, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you're like, I can't even talk to my wife about this or whatever. You know what I mean?
And what's hard for me is I want to solve problems. And so if somebody tells me something and I feel like, oh, well, if this person knew this, then they could talk to each other and then they could work things out. And then the person's like, dude, why did you go tell them that? I'm like, because I thought it would help if you guys worked things out. And they're like, that was not your decision to make. That was not for you, you know.
So that's what used to happen with me and you and Tony.
Really?
Because like Tony would have a problem with me, and he'd tell you, and then you'd tell me, and I'd be like, what the crap, Tony? Like, you have a problem with me? Why not, you know?
And then he'd get mad at me for
and
telling.
He'd get mad at you for telling me. But I'm like, how can I fix it if I don't know?
Yeah.
Like, Tony, what the crap? And he'd do that all the time. Like, he'd always talk to you about stuff, and he'd never talk to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like when remember when he deleted our group me? Like, he just deleted it out of the blue. And I'm like, what the crap? And it wasn't until you were like, oh, well, he said that, you know, you said something or whatever. And I'm like, what? You know?
Yeah.
He would never talk to me, but he'd always talk to you. But then you'd tell me. Anyway.
So should I have not said anything?
No, you totally should have.
I guess what I should have done is I should have said, you should talk to Tony and let you guys talk, and then instead of me taking it upon myself to tell you.
Maybe. But like,
I just have a hard time doing that. I'm just
I don't know why he would never talk to me in the first place.
Right.
It was so.
Well, see, that's the thing, and I guess that's why sometimes I have a hard time with that, is because I feel like, you know, if you have
the conversation.
Yeah, if you have an issue with somebody, you should talk to that person,
totally.
Not go talk to other people about the problem. Right. But then again, it's not my thing. It's not my issue, so it's not for me to decide, I guess, even if I feel like that's the best way to deal with it.
Yeah. But yeah, you got to be careful. Like, if you share something with someone, I mean, realize that you're placing a burden on them if you expect them to keep it confidential or whatever.
Right.
So you should be really careful who you share information like that with. Right.
Right.
And I'm pretty open, like you. Like,
You're very open, I think, about
I'm
certain
kind of an
things.
open book, right?
You don't want people to know you're in the restroom, in a public restroom.
Well, there is that. Yeah. Don't. Anyway.
But about lots of other things that a lot of people don't want to talk about.
Right.
Things that people might say are taboo subjects to talk about, you're really open about.
Yeah. So if a lot of times if I share something with someone, I'll actually say, hey, just so you know, like, this isn't in confidence. You don't have to, like, keep it a secret. Like, don't go blabbing it or whatever, but like,
right.
Like, I don't want them to have a burden placed on them. Like they can't talk to their spouse or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't.
That's like the opposite of what people have to do in my family, where they're like, please keep this secret. Please don't tell everybody this.
Yeah. So there was a guy at Addiction Recovery the other night, and he was saying, he was kind of like, yeah, so my wife, like, keeps telling people, you know, about his addiction, I guess, right? Or about the situation. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, that's tricky. I told him, but I mean, I basically told him, like, look, you know, you're married, and it's like, so your stories are intertwined, right? And you can't necessarily say, hey, I forbid you from telling people things, right? You can definitely say, like, hey, I appreciate it if you wouldn't, like, you know.
Aren't things that are shared in a 12-step group, though, supposed to stay there? Aren't they supposed to be?
Well, it's not in a 12-step group, though.
It's
just like she's just talking to someone and it comes up.
Oh, I see.
Right? Like,
seems to me like if I went to an addiction recovery program and someone was talking about their personal life and I was like, oh man, and I went home and wanted to talk to my wife, I wouldn't use names. I would just say, there was somebody in the group and this is what they said, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. but I guess, that's the thing. Like, I've always kind of felt like, okay, Stephanie can share whatever she wants to share with people. Like, that's, you know what I mean? I can't like tell her what she can and can't say
Right.
about our situation, right?
Well, and again, you're really open about it with people anyway, so
Yeah, and I mean,
so it doesn't bother you.
I was kind of like, I was kind of over it initially. I mean, when, like if I was still struggling with it and she was talking to people, that might be a little more, that might be a little, but still, like, I can't be like, I mean, you can't control anybody, right? You can't control the other person. So I can't, like, all I can say is, maybe be careful what you say or whatever,
Yeah.
Or in this situation, I don't think you should have told that person, or,
Right.
So that's kind of what I told this guy. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a tough situation, but because here's the thing, when you have an addiction and your spouse is aware of it, it's kind of like, okay, you go to an addiction recovery group and you like get stuff out, you know what I mean? You're like sharing whatever.
Right.
But like, spouses don't always have that same option, you know what I mean? And they can feel like very isolated and like, oh, I've got this secret that I've got to keep and I don't want anyone to know. Just like the addict, right? It's like they don't want people to know that, like, oh, their husband's has this problem and they're trying to make things look normal and like, oh yeah, everything's fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can be a big burden on her.
Right. She needs support and she needs to be able to talk to people about it to get support, just like the addict does.
Yeah. And there are there are like spouse support groups.
Right.
But like a lot of spouses don't really think about that. Like, for example, the group I go to on Wednesdays, we have, we'll have like maybe 9 guys there, and in the room next door, in the spouse group, there's like maybe 2 women or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women think,
this is your problem.
Yeah, like this is their problem.
You need to go get help for this. I don't.
Exactly. And so they won't necessarily think, oh, I should go to a group. But even though they probably, like, a lot of them probably would benefit from that,
right,
from
right.
being able to just be someplace and share and be like, oh, this is what I'm going through. Right. So anyway, so sharing sensitive information, that's my advice when sharing sensitive information. And don't share with people like Polly G. No.
I think a lot of people feel comfortable talking to me about things like that. And I think a lot of times I would never tell anybody something that is very personal.
Right. Yeah.
But then obviously there's some times where I screwed up, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten my nickname Radio Pablo, as like, oh, you told somebody, and then that, you shouldn't have told somebody that. So
Radio Pablo, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so maybe next time we should, I don't know, we have like a couple minutes left. We could talk about, so do you remember when Colleen, I can't say last names. I should edit that out.
Okay.
Okay, do you remember when Colleen came to your party? So
I remember we. Are you talking about like down in our basement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then the next day you like told me that Tony said, yeah, that was one of those situations, right? And I'm just like completely clueless and like, oh yeah, that was really fun or whatever.
Well, so what should I have done? Just not told you?
No, you totally should have told me. You did the right thing.
I mean, I just feel like if it were me, I would want to know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big proponent of communication. I feel like communication will solve a lot of problems.
Absolutely.
One year, this was a long time ago, as a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
I had a student who I really liked. I chose her to be my TA because I thought she was so awesome. I think I even chose her like for my Spanish student of the year or something. Like I really like this girl.
Okay.
Well, everybody at the school is talking about how people saw her kissing another girl in the girls' bathroom.
Mm.
Like everybody in the school's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
because it's friggin' junior high.
Does this girl's mom know this?
Uh-huh.
Like, if it were my kid, I want to know. So I'm talking to other adults, and I'm like, everybody knows about this, but has anybody contacted her parents? And they're like, no. So I called her mom, and I was like, hey, I just want you to know I love your daughter. I'm not trying to get her in trouble.
Mm.
That's not my point here. But if it were my kid and everybody, the whole school was talking about it, I would want to know about it. And so I'm just delivering the message, and then I'm going to hang up the phone because I'm not actually calling to talk to you about it. I just want you to know that this is what the deal is.
Wow.
Because I just felt like I would want to know if it were my daughter.
Mm-hmm. So you just left a message? Like
No, I talked to her mom.
Oh, you talked to her?
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was very awkward.
Yeah.
But
hey.
I don't know.
Well, it's good. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe I'm just a weirdo that I want to talk about everything with everybody.
well, there's a big controversy right now about like teachers keeping things from parents, right?
Yeah.
And there are laws being passed that are saying, hey, you can't, like teachers can't keep stuff confidential or
yeah. If a student
whatever.
comes to me and says, hey, I know my name is this. Let's say, for example, my name's Mary. But
my name is what? My name is Chicka Chicka Slim Shady.
Let's say my name is Mary, but I want to go by Max or something. I can't do that unless the parent needs to be informed about what's going on. Or I want to use different pronouns. Like it has to go through the parents. And I feel bad for some of these kids because they don't feel comfortable talking to their parents about it. But I also understand if, as a parent, I wouldn't want all the teachers at school are calling my son Julie and using she, her pronouns, and I don't even realize that that's going on. Like, that doesn't seem right to me.
Right.
It's complicated.
It is complicated.
But,
I mean, the other side of that is they say, oh, well, you don't want, like, them to be in an abusive situation at home. Like, oh, you know, like, I found out you're gay, son. What is this? Right?
Yeah, right.
Which, you know, I doubt most parents would be, like, abusive, but they might not be.
Definitely some have been over the years.
They might not be supportive.
Right.
Which, yeah, but it's a tough situation, right? Because it's like, if I'm a parent, I would want to know, like,
right.
what my kid's doing, and I guess like I wouldn't want some teacher being like, oh yeah, you know, we have this secret, like it's you, you know, with like the kid, like, oh yeah, you know, you're gay or you're trans or whatever, and I'll keep your secret. Then it's like that's not really appropriate to have to have that relationship with an adult. Like, I don't know.
However, I have to say, so I'm the GSA advisor at my school, the Gay Straight Alliance, and so I have all these kids in my class every week after school, and there are kids in there that I definitely know that they're gay or trans or, you know, whatever, and I have not contacted their parents because I'm following the rules that they're telling us, which is, you know, I don't necessarily have to report to their parents, hey, your kid told me that she's gay or whatever, but I also don't call her by a different name or use different pronouns or anything like that either.
Yeah. Well, but also it's a group, like it's a club, and you're just there.
Yeah.
It's not like it's one-on-one with you and some kid.
Right. And I really don't have much to do with it at all. The way the laws are set up is the kids do their club. I'm just the adult, and they just need a room to have their club in, and I'm just there putting grades in the computer or whatever while they're doing their own thing. I'm not like saying, "Hey, I'm glad everybody's here today. This is what we're going to do today." Like, I'm not in charge of the club at all.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the other thing is like, what if the teacher advisor or whatever was all like, you know, like, yeah, kids, let's all be gay. Like, that's awesome. And like encouraging.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I try to show them love and support.
Sure.
I say, hey, if anybody's harassing you, you know, if you guys have any problems, you know that I care about you, I love you, and you can talk to me about things. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But I don't give them my opinions on anything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in a crazy world, and there aren't easy answers to everything, are there?
No.
So we just have to do the best we can.
Yep.
Anyway, cool. So thanks for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed our little chat, and we will hopefully be back next week.
Yeah.
With another bunch of fun topics to discuss. I'm the Notorious BIV.
I'm Polly G.
And we will see you in the next video.
Take care. Thanks for watching.